Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Vengeance. Vengeance is brought to you by Mighty Boards. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and games are about 30 minutes per player. So Vengeance is all about what it says, vengeance. Your character has been wronged by any number of gangs, and you are out for blood, so to say. Think of movies like Kill Bill or even like John Wick in recent memory. So those movies really encapsulate what this game is about. However, this game may actually take that and ramp it up. But we're going to take a brief look at how the base game plays. Now, this base game is already out, it's available, but on Kickstarter is the Director's Cut, which is an expansion that adds a fair amount more of player interaction using director cards, as well as giving you more thugs or more gangs to deal with and a new player character. All right, this preview is going to be a little different. We're not going to just do kind of a layout, how the game sets up and works. Instead, we're going to get some of the high points because there's a ton of great videos out there already that you should go check out that actually teach you and walk you through the game. But know that one of the highlights that I like is that these different dens are different levels of dens, really, and they net you different victory points based on clearing them and what level they are. You'll note in the top right corner of the board what those victory points are. Now, there's multiple ways to get victory points, and really, that's the goal at the end of the game, at the competitive game, to get the most victory points. Now, what makes the Director's Cut that's coming from Kickstarter, the fact that you can affect these battles in these dens using director cards, and of course there's an additional character you can play with a new gang. So I'm looking forward to trying that more and checking it out, but I think those director cards are what's really neat about that expansion. All right, so back to the base game. Now, one of the neat things here is these character boards and the main stats, and you have to really keep an eye on these. No one can actually be killed, but you can be knocked out in this game. Now, one of the things about this game is that you are wronged. So at the early part of the game, you're going to be drafting cards, vengeance cards. And these are the gangs and different people that you have to deal with, and they have wronged you. And so you, based on those cards, will determine how much damage you take on any of these stats. And there's just basic damage, which is a red cube, or you have severe damage, which is a black cube, which takes more points of health to heal and remove from the board. But the thing here is that these different values are going to affect the amount of dice you get to roll in the game. Also at the bottom of your card are upgrade slots. Now there's some really powerful combos and things you can put in here, but during the montage phase of the game, you'll be playing cards and acquiring upgrades or healing your character or potentially scouting out locations looking for certain bosses in order for you to attack. But the upgrades are really neat and powerful, and you should use them frequently because it really adds some interesting combos as you acquire those. And you can really have as many upgrades as you want. But whatever's on top, the topmost upgrade, will dictate what you're using in battle. But you'll be placing them on these slots, and like I said, you'll be organizing them and getting them ready as you move into each of the different battle phases. And just another note about that montage phase where you're playing cards, where you're trying to heal yourself, where you're trying to either scout or upgrade. Well, you have these white dice, and you're going to be rolling them based on what your current stress level is. You'll roll that many dice that allows for, and then everyone at the table will be pooling those dice, and then you will draft those dice back. And it's all based on speed and such so forth. But as you play out the cards and apply these dice to those cards, it gives you more bonuses for doing upgrades or for doing healing, things like that. And throughout the game, you'll be tracking all your victory points on the victory point board. Now, what's important about this board, on the right side of it, you'll have mission cards that you can potentially achieve throughout the game, giving you more victory points, as well as achievement cards at the bottom of the board. So you want to keep an eye on these as you play the game, hoping to gain those victory points at the end. And then we move to combat, really. And basically in combat, you're going to be rolling dice 3 times and applying their effects. Now, the different dice are going to be dictated by your broken level. You roll that many dice, and if you have a special symbol that's green, you'll roll the green dice along with them. These are the red dice. And these are things that are going to allow you to like move, to do knife attacks or do double knife attacks, have guns that shoot at range, and of course villains. If you get villains, then that applies at the end of your roll, and all the thugs and everybody in the area are going to hit you for a point of damage. So that's something to keep in mind. And if you can roll multiples of these, so watch out for that. But really, the thing I like most about combat is that you move into an area, and each of the areas has a spot designated, and you have one free run action as you move in. But if there's any areas or thugs in the areas, I should say, that you have to encounter or run through, you're going to take damage for that. But in general, you're going to start at the start point, and you're going to make some choices here as you roll these dice. And what I like really is that these dice become this puzzly aspect. Like, am I going to move, and then am I going to shoot into the next zone, or am I going to move and do a knife attack? And again, remember, your upgrade abilities might really play into how these dice are used in each of your 3 rolls. So I think that puzzly nature, I mean, it doesn't seem like it at first, but it does become a puzzle on the best way to use these dice and affect the ultimate outcome of destroying all the thugs in the area, giving you the maximum points. Now, again, you're looking for zones where you particularly have thugs or bosses that you need to take out. And it also becomes kind of that set collection thing with those vengeance cards. Basically, you trying to match things up so you get the maximum points for taking out a thug or boss level area. And once you wipe out an area and clear it, then that's when you remove everything off and the tile comes out, and the next level tile will come in and you'll populate it with new thugs. But I think my favorite part about battles in general is obviously you get to do 3 different attacks as you move through. And there's even a really nice tracking board to show you how the different phases of the game work, which I really like as well. But this puzzly nature of dice is really neat, and it really works well. And it keeps the game very fresh and vibrant as you roll these dice, and it really changes up your strategies and how you play and how you put the dice together in a sequence. So the game takes place over 3 acts, which basically make up that montage and combat, and that you go back and forth trying to eliminate and get the best points possible from your different vengeance cards and taking out the different bosses and different thugs out on the board, as well as paying attention to all the achievement cards and mission cards that are in play. Now, there's also a solo mode to this game, which is pretty neat because the solo aspect is definitely specifically geared toward the different types of characters in the game. And they all have their own objective cards or mission objective cards as you play that solo experience. And I don't play a lot of solo games, but this one works really well. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview. But what we showed you here is mostly the base game, which is done and complete, and you can get now. However, the director's cut, which is up on Kickstarter, is seeking funding. And it has some neat aspects that I'm really looking forward to getting to the table more. Specifically, again, those director's cards, how it enhances the player interaction. Now, ultimately, folks, if this looks like a game that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.